Welcome into Vikings Central. Pretty big night in the Twin Cities at TCO Performance Center. Night practice went for about 2 hours. Me and Austin are going to talk about a majority of stuff that happened. Some big signs for the offense and defense. Just progress. That's what all training camp is about right off the bat. Just progressing towards that one common goal, and that's just getting ready for week one at this point, and then we just build those blocks. Hopefully becoming a championship contender. But Austin, how the hell are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Just watching these videos from the night practice have got me really going, kind of getting me more excited. And like you were saying, the progression's all getting there, and that's how it's important. And I think we're starting to look like a football team coming into this practice tonight.
Yep, that's what it's all about. Yeah, especially I think we're on. I think today was day 10 or 11, so
Yeah.
we're in the thick of things. Football's upon us. About damn time. It's been the summer goes by fast, but at the same time, you're just ready for football. And that fall weather as we get closer and closer to week one. Monday Night Football versus Chicago Bears. I'll actually pull up an article here on our Substack. Do want to shout out our Substack real quick down below. Substack.com/Vikings Central. You can find all of our written work there, and then some other short form videos. Going to shout out one of our sponsors here real quick, and that's Badass Wood Art.
This segment of the Viking Central podcast is sponsored by That's Badass Wood Art. They have some really cool pieces in the shop online that speak to gamers, sports fans, or just nostalgic and trendy pieces for your garage, home, or office. Luis at That's Badass Wood Art can even make you something custom if you don't see it in his store. Shoot him a message with an idea, link, or picture of what you want, and Luis can make your dream wood art come true. Check them out now at www.thatsbadasswoodart.com and make sure you use our Viking Central coupon code of VC15 for 15% off at checkout. That's pretty badass.
All right, let's get right into it. Again, that's Badass Wood Art. Homage, you see him up there as well. That's the best way to support us. Use code VC15 for that. That's Badass Wood Art. At checkout, and then Homage, you see the link below the logo up there. Just go over there. I think a lot of the Viking stuff's 20 to 30% off right now. They just got really good clothing and gear over there. All right, let's get into this article. I got some bullet points here of kind of what I caught, what everyone who was there actually there. I was supposed to be there and I couldn't make it work, but Vikings defense again, kind of just controlling the practice. I was probably a little bit overzealous on the overpowers the offense because there was moments for the offense, but the defensive line continues to kind of show out at training camp, and that's kind of been the theme through the first couple weeks of training camp. Just how good can this defensive line be, Austin?
Well, I mean, we kind of went into this in depth a lot in the offseason leading up to this point, but I mean, our edges were solidified last year, and now that we're bringing in the talent that we did on the interior, we're going to be rushing the passer, and I think, but where it's going to be the biggest part is we're going to be stopping the run significantly, and I think teams are going to be struggling to run the ball, creating them to have to throw the ball, and then with our edge rushers, that's how they're going to get to the passer. There's going to be a lot of sacks this year, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point because if we can stop the run, we've been okay against the run, but it hasn't been like a strength of the team. And like you said, I think that can be a real strength. And then with our, outside linebackers, our pass rushers, just able to have that freedom, just get after the passer. And then we're also going to get more interior pressure because we got Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, who are really good pass rushers from the interior. And then just the depth along there as well. We haven't really talked about Harrison Phillips, who's been like one of the key guys over there along the defensive line. He's kind of been an afterthought, but he's going to be a really big piece as well. And then you got a bunch of young guys as well, Taki Tayami, and then Jalen Redmond. You got Levi Drake Rodriguez. You got Tyrion Ingram's Doc. I mean, you can keep going along the line. And there's just playmakers it's going to be hard because are we going to have to cut like one of these guys that we really don't want to and hope they can get back on the practice squad? It's a good problem to have. Kwesi calls it champagne problems, but at the same time, you just want to make sure we're fitting in those pieces at the right spots. So, but yeah, the depth is pretty incredible.
Yeah, the depth is kind of what's going to help us out. Everyone's
Yep.
going to be able to stay fresh. And then even on the edge, Dallas Turner coming,
Yep.
having a strong early camp, that's going to be a big part to the exterior rush, too. And then
For sure.
even guys like Cashman are going to be doing great in the run game because when the interior line blocks up the offensive linemen, it really opens the holes for the linebackers to get up and make plays. So I'm really excited for the Vikings defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The defense, they could be top 5, top 3 in the NFL if that's sacks, points allowed per game or yardage allowed per game, like any of that. I think they could be up in the top 5-ish of the league in all those categories, and especially with Brian Flores running the show. So yeah, very excited for the defense.
I'm loving the early comparisons to the '84 Bears defense.
Hey,
I
there
think
we
that's
go.
I'm loving that. Although
Hell
I
yeah.
don't like getting my hopes up too
Yeah.
early on our defense or even any part of the Vikings. But
if we're even like 50% of that, hey, that's huge. But hey, Kevin O'Connell's kind of echoed that. He's like, he has huge expectations for the defense, and hopefully they can live up to the hype. All right, let's talk about our quarterback. Probably everyone's favorite topic right now. It's probably my favorite topic, but JJ McCarthy showing growth, continues to show it. During 7-on-7s, he was really crisp, really accurate. Obviously, not too much of a game-like situation. They're running routes against, corners, and they got defensive backs back there. But at the same time, there's no pressure up in your face, and that's kind of where the defense has really been given the offense fits. But he looked really good versus 7-on-7 or on 7-on-7, and just again with the accuracy and everything. And then kind of more during the 11-on-11 live action, he was really using his mobility, like he was using his legs when he needed to. Not too much, but he had a touchdown. I wanted to clip it, but I wasn't able to do it for some reason. He had a touchdown in the red zone using his legs, and he still made a couple of really nice throws, and especially in the red zone. And I think that's really a key that we can look at. If we can be better in the red zone this year, we were absolutely horrible last year, not good. If he can be a really good red zone quarterback, that's just going to open up a lot for this offense as well. Obviously, you want to be really good against like in between the hashes, but if as a young quarterback, if you can make that step to be a really good red zone quarterback, I think that's a huge step.
yeah, and I think like you were bringing up his mobility, he kind of showing us some flashes of Fran Tarkenton. He's not. I don't foresee him maybe getting a lot of rushing yards, but I think he's going to extend the play a lot. He's going to get outside the hash marks and make plays, and in the red zone especially.
Yeah.
When you have receivers like Addison, Hawkinson, and Jefferson out there, it's going to be easy. You give them time to get open, they're going to find a way to get open, and then
For sure.
I think you just make that play. And I think that was our problem with Darnold last year is he would kind of struggle with the mobility, and then when the line crumbled, it would make the play go down. He would either rush a pass out, get rid of the ball, or he would get sacked. So I think just the mobility factor and the young quarterback with JJ McCarthy is going to be great for this team in the red zone.
For sure. And he as long as he can like pick his spots well too, like you don't want him to run too much or anything like that. Like you don't want to, risk injury or just have him like getting out of the pocket too much. But it seems like so far from what I've heard anyway and what I've seen, he's made like really good decisions on when to take off and run or just kind of sit in the pocket and wait for something to open up downfield. But he's also used his legs to escape the pocket and then keep his eyes downfield and then find a wide receiver downfield as well. So, if he can do that, he's really good passing on the run. If he can just balance that really well, I think he's going to have a really good, first year starting in this league. So just the progress that we've seen so far, it has been a little up and down, but he's a 22-year-old quarterback. It's
who just sat out a full year. So
sat out a full year. No Jefferson for the most part. No Christian Darrisaw for the most part. TJ Hawkinson wasn't out there tonight. Like there's a lot of things up in the air, but I feel like he's been at least pretty consistent so far. So I think that's a positive.
Yeah, for sure. And like you were saying, with all these people missing out, he's getting reps with all these other players and is making it easier on him. Like he's been able to. I've seen some connection there with Naylor and Addison a lot more, which will be nice, even though it's not looking like Addison's not gonna be there in the beginning. But either way, that's why it's a good thing to get the connections with other receivers and for JJ McCarthy to be able to look as crisp as he has and even kind of showing as he's kind of been a leader a little bit out there from the videos I've seen. I think it's very encouraging for him that having a big rookie campaign.
Yeah, No doubt about it. I think he's on the right direction. I mean, like I said, he's kind of stumbled here and there, but he's been able to be consistent. And if he has dipped down a little bit, he's always climbed up, and kind of got back even keel, or really had like a show out practice, which is also really, really positive. So let's talk about another quarterback, Max Brosmer. I think he did throw an interception tonight. I forgot who he threw it to. I think it was a safety. I think it was Michael Powell. I think one of the guys that were brought in for camp. But he's been kind of displaying a really strong arm with velocity, and he's been pretty composed. And honestly, from what I've heard, he's probably been the second best quarterback at camp, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's been really, I've been saying JJ McCarthy's been up and down. I mean, Sam Howell, I don't know if I've seen many ups from him so far. But Max Brosmer, like, he could be like a dark horse to make this team. I don't think they're gonna have the confidence in him being like the backup. And I see Eric asked that on YouTube. I think he could eventually be the backup. I don't know if you want JJ McCarthy, a first year starter, and then a rookie as your backup. I don't know how realistic that is, but as a third guy that could be active on game day, I think it's very possible.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've watched a lot of Brosmer play. I'm a huge Gopher fan. I watch every single game. I went to like 6 games last year. I like what I've seen from Brosmer. Very raw talent. He didn't play first year playing FBS. D1 football was last year, and as he was progressing throughout the year, he got better and better. I think if he would have came to the Gophers a year sooner, I think he would have made a lot more splashes and would have even gotten drafted last year. So I think Brosmer showing out and playing well, like you said, I think more in that third quarterback spot. But you never know with how Howell's playing. I think maybe that there might open up a quarterback race for that second quarterback spot. You never know.
And we were talking before we went live. That's why I'm wearing my Bridgewater jersey. He just announced that he'd be coming back for the 2025 season. It's probably not very likely, and I don't even know if I'd be comfortable with him being the backup. But yeah, it's going to be interesting all the way leading up to week 1. Like, who's actually going to take that quarterback 2 spot? Is the guy even on the roster? And at this point, I don't know if he is. I think they bring in somebody, kind of like they did the first year. It was Sean Mannion and Kellen Moore fighting for the second job, and then they brought in Nick Mullins like a week or two before via trade. So I could see something similar to that. McCarthy, veteran quarterback, and then Brosmer being the third guy, which would be really cool. And I know they like Brett Ripien for the quarterback room.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's going to be something to watch at least.
And more on Brosmer's college experience. He played a lot. He played 4 years of college football. He's older than JJ McCarthy. I just think he is a guy that could be not maybe a mentor, but he has a lot more experience than this guy that's being let on in the game of football, obviously. But it would be nice to have a guy like you said, Bridgewater. That'd be awesome. Good homecoming. But because I'd like to see a lot more experience with like the starting role. That's why I really want Sam Howell to step up in this quarterback room.
Yeah, and Bob says Manning is Love's QB coach. Yeah, I forget he went over to Green Bay. He went across the border. I mean, Austin, you're across the border. You're in Wisconsin, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm on the dark side over here. Yeah,
he's on the dark side. You're within pretty decent driving distance to Minnesota. So.
Oh yeah, I'm only 30 minutes from TCL.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's something to keep an eye out for sure. Something that, like I said, is going to be kind of up in the air until week 1. But another really positive thing we've seen so far in training camp is Dallas Turner, 2024 first round pick. Just his speed and explosiveness so far off the edge. It's just like consistently, making plays in the backfield. And then we saw a clip also on social media of him like dropping back into coverage, putting a pretty decent lick on, I think it was Jordan Mason, kind of knocking the ball loose. Just to have that versatility, he could really be prime for like a huge 2020-25 season.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think with like we were saying in the beginning of the show here is that with our depth at the line, he he's not going to get a lot of experience, a lot of opportunity right away, but I think he could be that third pass rusher. And I think by the end of the season, I think he's going to be a mainstay that we're going to be seeing a lot more of him. Towards the last season, he was progressing as the years went on, and then he showed up to camp even bigger this year. He had the size problem. The quickness was never the problem, and then even at Alabama, he's always been that way. So I think going into this season with the extra size, it's going to do a lot of good with him going against those tackles on the outside.
Yeah, and just imagine if they have a package of Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Dallas Turner on the field all at once. Like that could cause a lot of issues. And then you have Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace Jr., rushing from the linebacker spot. Like, ooh, Brian Flores is probably licking his chops right now, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. I think that our whole defense is versatile, and Flores has kind of shown that's a style of football that he likes. Is he wants players to be versatile, be able to play a lot of positions on the field, and be very knowledgeable. And I think going forward, I think that's going to be huge for our defense.
No doubt about it. And yeah, the personnel over there is crazy. So it's just really nice to see him step up, and hopefully, like I said, he's primed for a big year. Both of our first round picks from last year have great years. It's gonna do a lot for this offense and defense, so the team in general. All right, so we talked about Sam Howell a little bit. He did take most of the second team reps, and I kind of paired this with the running backs. But Xavier Scott got some second team run. He was a UDFA last year, I believe. So that's ahead of Ty Chandler. Brett Ripien went back to mostly working with the third team. What do you kind of think of that? Like for Sam Howell, we'll start with Sam Howell quick. Are they just kind of trying to give him as much experience in this offense to see what he can do, like leading up to like week one? Or are they just kind of, I don't know. It feels like Brett Ripien, like he got second team work at the last practice. Like it's just weird that he didn't get any second team work this week. So, or tonight anyway. So for Sam Howell, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think their thoughts are of Sam Howell so far?
Well, I think maybe he's showing something else in the film room where he is being a mentor. He's being someone who is being he's a very smart football player. No. Although he does like to throw the football around, he can make mistakes, as we've seen. I think he's a guy that they want to win the job. He's the guy that has experience. He started games in Washington. He has been around the league, been with multiple teams. I think their thought process here is they got to give the guy as much chance as possible to win the job. But I think even bringing in Ripien with the second team, that might even just have been a way just to throw a spark under him, get him going a little bit, throw a little pressure on him.
Sure. And that makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense because, they traded for Sam Howell. They want to make it work. And, they probably don't want to be too quick to the bowl either. Like we're in the, I think, third week of training camp, not even just the start of the third week of training camp. So they want to give him time, and we haven't even seen him in a preseason game yet either. I think that's going to be a really big tell. And then along with joint practices next week for Patriots, like that's going to be huge, not just for Sam Howell, but obviously J.J. McCarthy as well. But I just think, they're trying to get him as much as experience in this offense just to see if he can maybe turn a corner. Because best case scenario, he starts to turn that corner, then you don't have to look elsewhere for a backup quarterback. They don't want to start all over for a guy just joining the system. They want to make this work with Sam Howell. And obviously Brett Ripien knows the offense really good, but he's pretty much an extension of KOC and Josh McCown, just to kind of have that coach in the quarterback room a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of the main points from this bullet point was Xavier Scott ahead of Ty Chandler. I guess Xavier Scott has had a really good camp, pretty explosive. But what does that kind of tell you about Ty Chandler's chance at even like making the team in 2025?
I think it's showing that he might have a slim chance of making the team. We kind of know what we're going to get from Ty Chandler. He hasn't really made any strides to get any better. He's kind of been the same player the past couple of years, and I think that was the hope with Ty Chandler, was he would progress and maybe get a bigger role, but he just hasn't really shown himself into a way which I believe that's going to be the case. I honestly, like you said, I think it's a good chance that he might struggle to make the team even this year.
Yeah, and like he was the kick returner last year, but that's also a spot where they can replace that pretty well, especially with Ty Felton. And we're going to talk about Silas Bolden a little bit here as well. But yeah, I think he gets cut, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They do really like Xavier Scott, and as a running back 3, I think they're just looking for someone to do all the little things right. They never really trust Ty Chandler to like pass block or anything like that. And you could tell their confidence was a little shaky with him. But he does have a ton of potential. But I think it's probably just time for, grass maybe greener on the other side for both parties. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ty Chandler might even need just a restart somewhere else like that, like
yep,
you said. As it might do him some good.
yep, no doubt about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got over 500 people on here. Bob says we should be worried he might share all of his QB knowledge with Love. Are we talking about Sean Mannion, Bob?
I'm not too worried about Sean Mannion.
Hey, you're a big Jordan Love guy, though, Austin.
I mean, I believe in Jordan Love. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a topic on there too. We got a video coming up on maybe some NFC North quarterbacks, but thank you guys for hopping on. We got a couple more bullet points here. Again, best way to support us, go over to our Substack. This is where the article here is coming from, our Substack, substack.com/Vikings Central. That's Badass Woodart. Use code VC15 and homage. You can see the link up there as well. Best way to support us is support one of those formats over there. So let's just keep going. We're going to talk a little bit about Lucky Jackson, a guy stepping up and using his experience and his chance. Like I said, with Justin Jefferson out, he's stepped in and he's made some plays just to be really reliable. A good route runner. Everything that Kevin O'Connell kind of looks for like the wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 spots. In your opinion, especially if Jordan, we've talked about this a lot. We still don't know what's going to happen with Jordan Addison, but do you trust Lucky Jackson like to step on the field and make some plays if need be? I mean, it looks like him and McCarthy at least have some sort of chemistry going on.
I mean, I'm gonna trust Kevin O'Connell what he thinks, but Lucky Jackson, he is a fast guy. He runs a good route, and I love the connection that him and JJ McCarthy have come together. I'm just worried about him being maybe a little undersized, but I think other than that, I think the connection that him and McCarthy have gotten in the videos I've seen at camp have looked pretty good. He's hitting them in stride. He's anticipating where he's going to be. I really like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of the first thing I thought of too, is like you can just kind of see him, like he is a little bit on the smaller side, a little bit slight framed, but I feel like he does all the things right. Like he's not going to be a guy that wows you with his athleticism or anything like that. He's just really reliable, and a guy that I think if he needs to, he's been in the league long enough. He kind of wants to seize his moment a little bit. I think he can make some plays, but I also wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings they finally find out a resolution on Jordan Addison's suspension. Do you bring a guy in like Amari Cooper or something like that just to kind of fill that void for a little while? It's going to tell a lot about what they think about Lucky Jackson when we find out that news about Addison.
Yeah, and to your point, it might be good to bring in a veteran receiver too. We have a fairly young receiver room. Obviously, Justin Jefferson has a lot of experience being successful, but beyond Justin Jefferson, not a whole lot of experience. Although didn't Amari Cooper just retire? Didn't I see that correctly?
I saw something there. Double cheese. Okay. I saw something on there about that, but I don't think I think it was a rumor. I don't think it was actually, because I saw someone on X talking about it, but I think it kind of got shot down by, I don't know who it was, but I think it got shot down. Yep. So
okay,
I mean,
well,
yeah.
yeah, I kind of thought it was crazy too. Yeah, he's got a lot more in the tank, I feel like, and I think that would be a great route to go. He's worked with a lot of good quarterbacks. He's worked with Dak Prescott, obviously. He's also worked with Josh Allen. I think he would be a good person to come in and maybe even help JJ McCarthy out a little bit. He has a lot of knowledge of what needs to be done. He might even be able to grow Justin Jefferson's game a little bit, even though there's not a whole lot more to improve. But even bringing in a veteran guy like that might even be able to help out the entire team.
For sure. All right. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on X, the 32,000 followers we have on there, double cheese. He's giving us shit in the comments. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button or that follow button. Really appreciate all the support. Let's talk a little Jay Ward real quick. He's been making a lot of plays at training camp. If that's with the second team defense or the first team defense, he's been making a lot of plays. He had an interception of McCarthy a couple of days ago in the end zone, and he was with the first team as Harrison Smith sat out. What do you think of Jay Ward? Do you think he could honestly be a guy that could come in and really, make a difference on this defense? We always get crap about Kwesi not being able to make picks, but I think Jay Ward could be a guy that really turns it on for him.
Yeah, he's looked very good. He's a big body in there. I love that. A 6'1" safety. He's really built. I think he's about 195. I like a big safety in there, and he's always looked pretty good in college. And coming in here, I think that he could be someone that pans out. I don't know if maybe I don't think he's a guy that starts the year being an impact guy, but I think he's someone that might be able to see the field and create an opportunity that way.
Most definitely. And his career got off to a little bit of a rocky start. I think he had like 2 or 3 offsides on like special teams on some kicks, which was kind of like, oh shit. But at the same time, I feel like he's finally finding his role and kind of filling out his game. So that's really good to see. Probably the best thing Vikings fans could see all night was Will Riker going 6 for 6 on kicks in front of the biggest crowd so far at training camp. I think he was 13 for 18 leading up to tonight, but he was 6 for 6 tonight. Perfect on his attempts. How you feeling about Will the Thrill?
I mean, I loved what I saw from him last year, and going 6 for 6 tonight with the big crowd in there. That pressure was on a little bit, but I mean, being a Vikings fan my whole life, it's hard to trust a kicker, but I'm really hoping that Will can really win my trust over here. It's looking like that's the way. He's played a lot of big games, college and even last year. I think Will will be one of the best kickers that we've seen in the recent Viking history.
Hey, if that can happen, that's huge. Get our quarterback of the future, our franchise quarterback, finally, and our franchise kicker. Something that no one ever really talks about as kickers, but as a Vikings fan, like you said, we've seen all the heartbreak. I mean, I was pretty young for Gary Anderson. I was 3 years old, so I don't remember like moment specifically, but I remember Blair Walsh. I remember 2009 where Ryan Longwell, the best kicker probably since Gary Anderson, didn't even get a chance in the 2009 NFC Championship to kick it because Brett Favre had to throw across his body. Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're going to try to stay positive tonight. So hey, that's good to see. 6 for 6 on field goals. Keep it up, Will, because we want you to be a really damn good kicker this year. All right, Silas Bolden, rookie out of Texas, punt return race. It looks like he's pretty much the favorite. From what I've heard, he's been really like reliable back there. It looks really fluid and also really explosive, just returning kicks. I mean, we've seen him a little bit in the wide receiver room as well, but as a rookie and just with what his skill set has, he's going to be a guy that's going to do most of his work on special teams. So it sounds like he's beaten out Ty Felton so far, which was a 3rd round pick. But I feel like Silas Bolden's like the perfect punt returner. And we saw it in the NFC or the NCAA playoff where he had the kick return for Texas for a touchdown. Do you feel like he's probably going to be your punt returner?
Oh, I think so. He's fast. I like him. I was watching that Texas game when he did that, and I was thinking, oh, that'd be nice to have someone like that on the Vikings, and it turned out that way. We have him, and he's fast. He's shifty. He's had the experience. He's been in big games, punt returning. I think he would be a good sure-handed guy to have back there with pretty good experience in college. That's actually the guy that I've actually like highlighted that I would really like to see as our punt returner. I've liked a few of the other guys like you brought up, but I mean, I think Silas Bolden's going to be our guy.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Braden asks, where's Steve? Steve is currently out of the country. He had some stuff going on. but he's out of the country on some work duties. He'll be back on here probably next week. So yeah, Silas Bolden, I think, is going to be your guy. It's another thing like with kickers. Like I've had like nightmares about punt returners too, muffing punts and like really key spots. And I think our last really good one. I mean, Brandon Powell was decent, but Marcus Sherrills obviously is the guy you always think of with like punt returns. Like he was always the best punt returner.
I feel like even he liked to muff a few.
Yep, for sure. So my last little bullet here is Harrison Smith takes a day off. I just had to get Harrison Smith on here. Probably didn't need to be a bullet point, but we love Harrison Smith here at Viking Central.
Yeah, we do.
So hey, definitely deserved Hall of Famer. We just saw the Hall of Fame game and all the ceremonies. I think he deserves to be there when it's all said and done, because he's obviously earned it. And you can put his stats up against all the greats, and he's right there, if not better. And he's just been so good from day one. We love Harrison Smith. So this is from our Substack. Stay up to date here at Viking Central. The first preseason game is quickly approaching, guys. Subscribe to us at our Substack. Support our sponsors. Austin, you want to add anything else before we hop off?
No, I think we pretty much hit it all. I'm just gotta stay positive, look excited, and I'm looking forward to the next week. You brought it up, the joint practices. I think the Patriots will be a good test for us.
For sure.
I'm really excited to see how we go up against their defense.
Especially with Mike Vrabel running the show. He's gonna, he's probably not gonna do like too much like vanilla defense. He's gonna show McCarthy some stuff, which is gonna be really good, because he's been going up against Brian Flores and now going to go up against Mike Vrabel for pretty much all of next week, which is I think really gonna help on that end. And I won't be surprised to see some chippiness either, because I think Vrabel's that kind of guy to just kind of be like stand your ground and just be competitive in that way. So I'm really looking forward to that. It also sounds like JJ's going to play some of the first preseason game. Kevin O'Connell confirmed that today. Even if it is like 2 or 3 series, I think it's really good to just get his feet wet, especially if he takes the rest of the preseason off. You don't really want his first action to be Monday Night Football, Soldier Field for Chicago, even if it is just 2 or 3 series. So, all right, here at Viking Central, again, we really appreciate you guys hopping on. I'm Brett. That's Austin. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next one.